It was just a small 10-acre fire. And then it quickly grew to 50 acres. And then overnight it was up to 650 acres and then 800 acres and then 1,600 acres. It grew and has been growing really fast. So we're definitely praying for rain, and we're supposed to get that tomorrow. But everything is really dry and it's burning really fast. That's all smoke from the fire. And I'm trying to get video of the planes, but the hot shots from Boise are down up here. And they've got huge planes dropping the foam, the fire retardant, and they've got helicopters pulling from our lake. I seem to be missing them every time though. The fire is up to over 1,400 acres. It is directly behind me. It's probably about, well, they were saying like 6 miles from my area, so pretty concerned. I missed the 2 planes. They're flying over in this area because they're doing fire retardant. Oh. But that's all the smoke from it. Yeah. This is literally right behind us. We're climbing up to the tippy top of the property to see if we can see any more than that. Chloe's so happy she gets to go for a walk. Even if the hill may kill her mother. Justin! Kira! Oh no. He's gonna want to poop 75,000 times. Mark his territory against the coyotes. What are you doing, girl? It's right back there. Did you happen to look up and see any of the smoke? There's the helicopters behind him. Yeah. Sorry for the panting, guys. I'll show the hill we just hiked up. Just a second. It's that. So it's over the mountains a little bit, but it is in our area. We're trying to come up here to the very top of my property and see what we can see. That helicopter just picked up from our lake. He went behind the trees. We knew the bees were up here. We have so many. So every 5 years there's a gentleman from California that brings these bees up here. Works with the neighbor, and the neighbor gets a bunch of honey for letting the bees sit up here. But the bees are all in my house. And I don't mind, but I'd really like some honey. You can see a bit of the fire through there. That is pretty darn close. Yeah, I got it right here too. Oh, go over where I was at. I don't know if that's where they're This video won't let me scan any closer than one time. So far the wind is still blowing east, which is in our favor. But y'all, that's uncomfortably close. And we have friends from church that live over there that are being evacuated right now as we speak. And I have no truck because my truck is down. We do have a plan in order for help with evacuation. Chloe's down. Chloe's down. What happened, girl? Did you find Shane? That was a big hike, huh, baby? How you doing, Justin? How you doing, Kira? She's like, this was a dumb idea.
It was fun, I was wrong.
Oh, you can see the planes. So the hot shots from Boise are here working this fire. It's up to 1,600, over 1,600 acres. They're pushing it out of residential and into national forest area. But those are the guys that are dumping a lot of fire retardant on this fire. Of course, they can only work during the daytime. I can't see him at all through my camera, so I hope he's coming up on video. Not real sure why my camera's not letting me zoom in anymore. I'd love to see him drop the retardant. And then there's a chopper getting ready to land at the end of the lake. Well, not land. They drive by and they drop something into the lake, suck up water, and then take off with it. Are these guys, Kira, are they doing the bag? Is this the ones that's doing the big bag?
Yeah.
It's so crazy to me how much control they have over that chopper. Oh, I hope we can see it, because I can see the lake.
Bag on the bottom of it.
Okay. Get over here to the edge. Justin, move. Did you just fall?
No.
Shoot, I did not help matters at all. I can't see him. So they're staying down at the north end just because I think that's closer. And luckily people have just gotten off the lake. Earlier there were people on the lake. I don't understand that. Like, huge fire, selfish people. Get off the lake. Okay guys, I may be giving away where I live right now, but I do want to tell you that this is private property. You're not welcome to just show up and visit. I just thought this was a really neat thing that's going on. I hope you guys can see him in the red bag that he's carrying. There's another one picking up more water. They've been doing this all day, back and forth. All day, like since this morning. The fire went from 650 acres to 1,400 acres overnight. I don't know if we'll be able to see him drop it or not. And then occasionally the airplanes fly over with retardant and drop that. So right here behind those trees is a bunch of smoke. That's not clouds. There's clouds up top, but on the bottom near the trees is all smoke. But standing here right now, it's definitely a northeast wind. Oh, I see him. I wish I could zoom in more. I'll try to zoom in whenever I edit. So that's a little less than 6 miles from me. It's what I was told. So it's not If the wind shifts, we'll be in trouble. But as of right now, there's the helicopter. He leaks a lot. He drops a lot. He just goes in and scoops and goes. But I can't imagine how heavy that water is, because I'm not really sure. I'm going to look up the size of those bags. And so there's an airplane flying over the smoke right now. I think that's an airplane. I hear an airplane, and I see what looks like to appear to be an airplane. So this fire was set by somebody, is the last thing that I heard. They did have a suspect. I don't think they've announced who that suspect is, but they did a bunch of logging and clearing. Bless you. They did a bunch of logging and clearing. Here comes another helicopter. I don't know how many they have working this, but I think it's at least 2 helicopters, smaller helicopters that are going right now. And then I know there's 2 big ones, because you've got one coming and going, you know, as one's going, getting with water, one's coming back and getting water. And then they've got the 2 big ones, and then they've got airplanes that are dropping. This is all area that people live in. So there are evacuations. People are leaving. In fact, people from our church are leaving. I don't see him.
Yeah.
Oh, I see him. I don't know why this camera's not letting me zoom in closer. So they just hover down, sink the sack, and then lift up full of water. The ability of these pilots are amazing.
I'm interested in know what mechanism they use to dump the water, or if the bottom splits.
I don't know. We may have to look that up and see, because I don't know either. Or I don't know if there's a way to tilt it. So yesterday, the wind was blowing this direction. And so it really was, the smoke was all over us while we were working on our duck pond. And there he goes.
Noticed that.
And then it shifted, and so it started moving away from us. We were really worried and ready for evacuation, but the wind shifted to northeast instead of northwest. You what?
I noticed that the helicopters have smaller bags than that big long one.
Oh yeah, they definitely cannot carry the weight that big chopper can. And in fact, I think that big chopper is military chopper.
Makes sense.
Other than I'd be right in the neighbor's front yard. And we had no way. We actually thought about putting the house up here. Yeah. This would have been our view, which is just gorgeous. But getting up here in the wintertime would have been impossible. Oh, there he goes. There goes the other one landing. That's the big one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's the military group that's helping out. We do have a military nearby. And they were doing this all day yesterday and all day today.
Yeah.
This is the closest lake to the fire, even though when you look on the map, there, it looks like there's a giant lake on the other side, but I think the mountains are in the way. Or there's stuff in the way. I don't know why they don't pull from that one, but they do pull from this one all the time. Whatever, you just got out. You tired, you thirsty, you dying. Oh my gosh. That's the second guy. I don't know if he just got on shift or he looks to me. Hold on, gotta spin because of the dog. There goes that guy. So this one that we're looking at now seems military. That one seems, was that Coast Guard?
I think so, because military is solid black.
Coast Guard's military.
And that one's probably their own
The
place.
Coast Guard's, yeah.
I've noticed that the helicopters' bags are white.
They're,
The bigger ones are orange. So I'm wondering if there's like...
it's probably by size. They're colored by size. All right, well, we're gonna head down. There's not, it looks like that one's kind of clearing up a little bit, like the smoke's going, but the one that's south of us looks like it's very thick smoke. So the wind is still blowing northeast, so I think we are good. But we are still on hold for evacuation status. We'll keep you guys posted during this video. I've never been in this kind of situation. Have you? Where your house is going to burn down?
Yeah. Back when I was in OMAC,
Mm-hmm.
we had a level 3 evacuation.
That's getting your bags and leaving.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
we never did.
Well,
Stood our ground.
you have firefighters.
Yes.
Firefighter family.
I do.
Firefighter family's like, we ain't going nowhere. We're saving our place. That's what I did in Texas. So I did have that in Texas. I had a field catch on fire from a tractor catching on fire and burned 55 acres total, but we got it under control. The volunteer firefighters did show up, and we were between them and me and a 5-year-old Victor, so that was 25 years ago. But nothing as big as this. This is causing a ton of damage. It sucks when it's done by nature. It's angering when it's done by somebody setting a fire, and that all these people, these firefighters that are in jeopardy, these people that are losing their homes. There are quite a few people that have lost everything. I just cannot imagine. If we lose everything, we literally have nowhere to go. Like, we have nowhere to go at all. And we don't have a truck right now. We do have people on standby, but I've never been without a vehicle in an emergency type situation. And we have crates set up for the animals to load them and go, and we can go stay at somebody's farm, but we have no way to move the RV that we have. We have no way to do any of those things. So I'll take Miss Cloverson. Her and I move slow. But we're gonna walk back down the pipeline. I do want to what's the word? Iterate? Is iterate the word? I just want to say I'm country. And I know that I just kind of gave away where I live. But we do protect ourselves and have that ability, and we would truly appreciate if you did not come to our home or our area to visit. If you're in the area and would like to get coffee or say hi and meet up somewhere, definitely send me an email and we'll try to do that, but don't come to my house. Hey you guys, it is Friday morning. Still hearing a lot of the planes, a lot of the helicopters in the area trying to fight this fire. Overnight it went up to 1,800 acres, so it is growing. Right now the wind is blowing northeast, which is pushing it away from us, so that is good news for us. And it's kind of gone around my property by like, so it's actually gone around us by like a 5-mile span. So it is close, but with the way that the wind is blowing, which is very light today, it is actually moving away from us. Now, we have what appear to be rain clouds coming in. It did sprinkle this morning, and it is supposed to start raining tonight, and all night and all day tomorrow. So we are definitely praying for that to happen. I am not smelling or tasting smoke as of yet. But what this has done is really brought up, what are we going to do in the future for fire protection and evacuation. I've never had to evacuate a property. So if you guys have any suggestions, please put them in the comments below of things that you think that we need to do. Now let me show you what we have. So I have this horse trailer back here. Right now, the tires are flat. It's been sitting for 5 years. It does have some stuff in it. There is some rust that we will need to fix and do some welding on it to get that ready to actually use. And that needs to happen. What? So right now on property, we actually have 20 cats. This is Mr. Archer. Hi, buddy. You came way out. This is scary. There are a lot of planes flying over, which is unusual for right now. We have a lot of people that come in the spring and leave in the fall, and so there's a lot of flight patterns then. So hello my friends, today we are going to talk about what would you do in the event of a huge evacuation. We are building here on this off-grid homestead. We do not have a huge amount of water available to us, and on top of that, my truck is down and at the shop, so I have no vehicle. I have no on-demand water. We probably have maybe 1,000 gallons of water available to us right now here on the property at the moment. And we have a humongous 1,800 as of this morning acre fire that is going on locally and has been for the last few days. As of right now, it's going around the property, but it definitely, if the wind shifts, it could get us. And we would have to evacuate really fast. So most of our water is in IBC totes like this. I just filled up their water. But in honesty, we are honestly in a severe drought. We've been clearing this area. We have a bunch of slash piles to burn, so we definitely have something that could catch and burn. And as you can see, we are otherwise an extremely heavily wooded area. And it would be a really big issue with this just going up like crazy. So my thing with this particular video, I've never lived in an area that I had to be, pigs are not helping with our discussion, set for a fire evacuation or anything like that. So in the comments below, let's all comment things that you think would be super helpful for anybody that watches this video, and we can all learn together, especially if you live in areas like this that deal with fires. So what I've done the last couple of days with this fire that's been going on is, at first I just started commenting that it was happening because it was just a small 10-acre fire. And then it quickly grew to 50 acres, and then overnight it was up to 650 acres, and then 800 acres, and then 1,600 acres. It grew and has been growing really fast. So we're definitely praying for rain, and we're supposed to get that tomorrow. But everything is really dry and it's burning really fast. Okay, you guys, we are going to discuss basically what we've been going through the past few days. There's been a huge fire. Started out as a 10-acre fire, and then within that day it went to 60 acres. Overnight it went to over 600 acres. The next day it was at 1,200. Throughout that day, 1,400 it is, and then overnight it jumped another 1,000 acres. So right now it is at, hey sir, come here, what's the matter? 2,700 acre fire, and it is about 6 miles behind us right now as we speak. At least that's what my neighbors said. The area that they were evacuating, knocking on doors and evacuating people, is right at, my neighbor said 6 miles. I'm not real familiar with that area behind me, but that's what he was telling me. So the first couple of days we had a lot of smoke, and then the wind shifted because it was coming towards us, and they kept evacuating more and more and more down our main street. And then the wind shifted and it started pushing it away from us. But the thing that we were faced with is, how do we evacuate with all of the animals that we have? So let's count up our animals. Easy one, straight out the gate. We have 20 cats. That is not on purpose. Get your female spayed. Let's just leave it at that. So we have 20 cats right now that would have to go. We have 2 dogs, have to go. We have a lot of rabbits. So how many are in that cage up front? 10? 14.
Roughly.
So we have 14 or 15 rabbits. We colony raise. That's why we don't actually know the number, because we don't have them in individual cages. So that's another thing. We colony raise. They're all in one big cage that is non-portable.
Plus the vet.
Yeah, he's in a cage that is portable. We have chickens. I think I have 17 chickens. How many pigs? So we have a brand new litter of pigs of 4. So
8.
that's...
We have 8.
We have 8. So we have 4 that are very tiny that could not be moved and housed with the other ones. So we have a very tiny crate that we put those 4 in, and then we've got the pigs. We have 2 ducks, and the mama duck right now as we speak is hatching eggs. So I'm not really sure how many are alive underneath her. So please, like I said, we have 20 cats. You're going to hear them crying because we just brought them in for dinner. And then we have the sheep and the goats, which we have, let's see, 7 sheep.
I think
5. So 7 sheep and 5 goats. That does sound right. Now, what a lot of people, here's what we don't have.
6. Because I forgot a cat and Kira.
Okay, so 6 goats, 7 sheep. Here's what we don't have: a vehicle. My truck is in the shop, and it will be in the shop until next week. So that's completely down. I do not have a working trailer. We've hauled animals in the back of the truck. And I know so many people that have done that, where it's like, oh, I'm going to pick up this animal, put a cage in the back of your truck, and go get it, and it's fine. But I think, so I never thought that this would actually happen to me, where I had to mass evacuate off of the property very quickly. So let me tell you what we've done, and then let's discuss what we're going to be doing in the future, because we acknowledge that we are absolutely not prepared to haul butt and leave. So first thing is, if you are evacuating, grab your dirty clothes basket, especially if it's full and you haven't just done laundry. We just did laundry, but to be fair, I have not put my laundry away. It is still in the box. Still in the tub. So I could grab that. Those are all clothes that you wear, and you can easily run to the laundromat. And also acknowledge the fact that the community usually rallies around people who are victims of a natural disaster. So our community already has gift cards being done. The laundromat is set up for people. There's, blankets and food and all of that kind of stuff. So for those of us that live a homesteading style, which is basically most of this community that's been affected, everything that you've canned. So there have been, I think it was 26 buildings that have been completely destroyed. 6 of those being houses, people's houses, completely destroyed in this fire. It's now being pushed more into federal lands, is what the firefighters are trying to do. We have hot shots are part of this. There's over 230 firefighter personnel. There are drop planes that are dropping the retardant. There are helicopters that are scooping water, and it's a huge fire, and it's very, very scary.
Real quick, when she said hot shots, I literally did not know what she's talking about until she said this: the firefighters that jump out of a plane. I always called them fire divers.
Yeah, they are called hot shots. So it's a big, scary thing, and the only thing that is saving us is the fact that the wind has turned going towards the east instead of the west. When it shifts even a little bit to the west, we get covered in smoke. We're that close to the fire. So I'm not being dramatic, but I've actually never been in this position before, and it's super scary. So for your livestock, for your big livestock, I think I mentioned I have a horse trailer. Its tires are bad and it needs some welding done to it. So that's top on the list to get some stuff done to it by this time next year. We do have a fire season every year. It's just normally not in our area. So permanent marker, waterproof permanent marker. You can write your phone number on the bellies of your larger animals if you have to release them. If you have no way to get them off of the property. We immediately called a friend who has a trailer, who has a farm about 13 miles from here, who was willing to come get all of our animals. And so, have that in your pocket. Have a group of people that do this type of thing, and most likely you're not all going to be affected at the same time if you don't live in the exact same area, so you can help each other out in that aspect. So we had set that up immediately, but if he couldn't get here fast enough, we would have to release animals. So we wouldn't really be able to do anything about the rabbits. I mean, maybe we could grab a breeding pair, and we could probably shove 4 into the cage that the male is in right now. That is a portable cage, and load that up in a truck and go. So there's that. What did you do for the cats? You've got a dog kennel ready.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of, how many folding metal crates do we have? 1.
4.
We have 4. So I would say that needs to bare minimum double.
Yeah.
So anytime that you see free crates, cheap dog crates, older crates, whatever, if you have small livestock, go get them. Because of moving animals. We would be able to shove a bunch of cats into our big giant crate. I think all of our cats would have fit in one, because most of our cats are small kittens, this size and a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So they were all going to fit in the big crate. We had the dogs on leashes, which is not ideal. So I think you need to think about that. It's not ideal to leave with animals on leashes. They're going to be scared. You're going to be scared. You're going to be stressed. They're going to pick up on that. It's going to be chaos. And if you're trying to get other animals loaded or whatever, the dogs are in the way. So the best thing is to have a crate for every animal. We could take the medium-sized crate and shove my 2 dogs in it because they're corgis, they're small. So they could both go into a crate like that.
Yeah.
Crates you can shove into the back of trucks. Crates. We're just talking crates, girl. So one of the things that Kira did immediately is I had told her, grab our medications. Kira's autistic. She's on medication that she has to take to function. And then I have estrogen and stuff like that. So any of the prescribed medications you want to get into a bag immediately that is on somebody's person at all times. So a backpack would work really well because it's on your back. You can still do other things. So the reason why I like the folded crates is because you can fold them and store them away, and they take up a small amount of space. But we do have 1 plastic crate, and those are nice because it covers the animal and they feel safer in a cave type thing. So we did have that one. It's filthy. It needs to be clean. The pigs, the adult pigs, if we had to, we would have to release them. So again, the marker, write it on them. What ends up happening, I've noticed in these type of situations, is the community goes looking for animals and domestic animals. They go looking for them, and they start capturing them up, and then they call the number. They call you and say, hey, I've got a big pig that's got your phone number on it and your name. And You know, so that is legit. That does happen. It is very scary to release your domesticated animals. Like, it was making me sick thinking about having to do that. But you do not leave them caged up. You do not leave them in a pen. You give them the chance to survive and run out and go. The other thing that I've noticed is that people that know that there's a fire around slow down on the roads because they know animals are being released. And I think that is a real thing to think about, because the animals are going to be running away from the fire, and in our aspect it would have sent them to a highway. And so you know, but that at least they get an opportunity to survive. The baby pigs we could have taken with us because they're small, so there's that. And you know, if you have a humongous herd, you have to make the decision, if you can only take so many, who are you taking and who are you releasing? You've got to think about rebuilding your herd once the fire's over. You know, as far as your livestock and your way of life, really. So you would need to think, you would need to grab a boy and a girl and then get started with that. The
Basically,
ducks.
no arcing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're able to, fantastic. Take all of your animals. That's what we're going to talk about here in a minute, is prepping to take everybody that you've got, and maybe not having more than you can't take with you if you're in a fire area or something like that. I mean, obviously, if you're raising cattle or if you're raising horses or something like that, I mean, again, it's you write your name on them and you release them. So what else do we have? The baby ducks. We would have put the adult ducks in tried to put the adult ducks in one cage. When we were prepping for this, the eggs had not hatched yet. So in that instance, we would have left the eggs. They have since hatched this morning, so we would be grabbing them and trying to take them. The other thing, there's a lot of smoke in the air, so excuse my voice. So that's basically what we were doing. Grabbing our dirty clothes basket, grabbing my file container that has all of my important documents in it. Of course, you need your ID, your debit card, your bank checkbook, or whatever, those kinds of things. That goes all in with your medication, and that goes on one person's body, and that one person carries and is in charge of that type of thing.
Yes.
Because you could get shuffled around. You're probably gonna go. They set up areas for you to go to and to stay, and you just need to have that on your body. Like all of our animals would have went to, actually to our friend's house. That's what would have happened there. And then we would have either slept in vehicles or cots with the animals. I don't know what we would have done at that point, where we would have gone. We really didn't get that far. We were just like, where are all the animals going? So in the future, I want a fire container for my documents, because I don't have that. So the documents and meds could go in that fire container. So I definitely need to look into something like that. More crates for the animals. Getting my horse trailer fixed, which is going to be a big deal. Getting the horse trailer fixed. What else, Kira? What else can we think of? So one of the things that I've really been contemplating is we also have no well here. So we have no water here other than what we have in our IBC totes. So as far as gallons of water, we have a 1,000-gallon tank. We just dug a pond, but it's probably 1,000 gallons in that pond. We have 4 IBC totes that are between 250 and 350 gallons. So that's about 1,200 gallons of water. So we have a little over 3,000 gallons of water on the property right now. Now we're in a build. We have the basics right now, but building in the future, I am definitely going to look at setting up water sprinklers that maybe even come off your roof. Because if you have a rain collection system, which is what we're going to be doing, you would be spraying the water. It would be running down the thing back into your rain containments. So you would kind of double your water aspect on the house, bare minimum on the house. So my house is going to be a barndominium. It's going to have a lot of metal on it. So that, I guess, is helpful because it's not a bunch of wood. But that would at least wet down around, and then you would have probably one tank of water that's just constantly recycling. And as long as the electricity held out, it would continue to spray water on your house, saving the house. And so something like that also on the barn, because in the event that you couldn't, we'd need to set up the electrical systems that are a solar. Good Lord, these cats. It's obviously dinner time and time to come in. Come on, buddy. One in, one out. So really thinking about that while we're building, and maybe even have a spritzing system or a right around the house that's just spritzing out on the porch, the wraparound porch. So, you know, you'd eventually run out of water, but if you had that one tank that was on the roof that was spraying, running down, back into the gutters, back into that thing, you would have an endless system at that time, basically. That would be super helpful for all of your stuff. Firefighters wouldn't have to worry about your place. They could move on to the next. If you also were able to do something like that on your barn, you really could shove your animals in the barn and go, as scary as that sounds. And also, I would say some type of monitoring system. If you had some way to monitor it. The word is not wanting to come out. But monitor them in that aspect. But you could save your buildings. I think about these people that just lost absolutely everything, and I couldn't imagine with all the work that we've done in the last few years, completely, absolutely starting over from scratch.
Yeah. With
nothing. I mean, we're at the middle of the month. We're getting close to the end. We bulk buy at the beginning of the month, so we're broke. We're close to being broke at this point. You know, by the time I buy the next bale of hay for the animals and that kind of stuff, it's pretty much broke. I don't make a ton of money off of YouTube. I do make some, but not a lot. But if we don't have anything, then we have no channel. So, hey, that's my chair. It's like, so? Hey! Everybody else on the chair is like, what happened? So, horse trailer fixed. Definitely more crates. Catch pins for the animals. So I was actually thinking right around where they get water, if we brought in two cattle panels. So this would be cheap, easy to do. Those are $27 a piece. They're 16 feet long. You could literally close them so the corner is already made of that fence. So then they can lay up against the fence. You close them, you now have a catch pin. You know, the animals are going to be scared. They're going to be running. There's going to be chaos. I don't care who you are, you're going to have a bit of a panic to you, and animals pick up on that. So if you could get them captured into the first pin, shut that up, someone else could be grabbing them and loading, you know, and that's going to be the key, is getting them as tight as you possibly can into a thing where you could funnel them into a trailer really, really fast. And that's really difficult to do when everybody's panicking and there's fire and it's chaos and it's scared and all those things. So catch pins for every one of the animal pins is a must.
If they're still very food motivated, that helps a bit too.
But there's fear. I mean, definitely the pigs are pretty food motivated, and I think we could load them up like that. But there is fear, and you have to think about that.
Yeah.
That being fear. So if they have a chance to run away, they're going to. So you really need to get pins where a trailer could back up and you could load them in.
Yeah.
So I'm actually thinking when we're doing the fencing, so we have the main fencing on the outside, you have that corner that I was talking about, and then making some type of chute that's always there up towards the part of the fence where a trailer would back up to. So then you're just running them down the chute up into the trailer. Especially my type of trailer, it's a stock trailer and has a divider fence. We would run the pigs up first probably and get them all the way up front. So that would mean my pigs and my son's pigs, because he has four pigs also. So we would be looking at 8.
He has 6. 2 small ones and 3 big ones, so 5.
So he has 5. So he has 5. We have how many?
8.
Babies don't count.
Oh, then 3.
We have 3 big pigs, and then our babies would be in a crate in the back of the truck, because they'd get trampled. They'd be killed in the transport. So big pigs up in the top, in the front, shut the gate. Goats and sheep packed as tight as you could possibly pack them into that trailer for transporting. It's the safest anyway. If they can't move around a lot, all of them would fit in that back space. So with the horse trailer or stock trailer fixed, we'd be able to evacuate as long as my truck was here. But also there have been a ton of people on Facebook that say, I don't have a trailer, but I have a truck. Do you need help moving a trailer? Like, is there a trailer? Anybody got a trailer I can hook up on? I can help move animals. Like, that's been on the Facebook groups for this fire. So that is an absolute legitimate thing. If you have your trailer, get your animals loaded, because somebody is going to, and then you get on there and you're like, hey, come to my house. They can hook up and go, and they're taking them to wherever you want them to take them. So, you know, that is a thing. Now, I've got a bunch of welding that needs to be done on this trailer. New tires need to be put on this trailer. Bare minimum. It's got a new floor in it, a decently new floor, like 5-year-old floor in it. So that should be okay, since it's been storing stuff in it. So, and then that being said, getting it emptied so it can be used, because you're not going to really be able to have time to empty it. So, I don't know. I think those definitely are things that we're going to be thinking about in the future as we're building. If you have a homestead or you're thinking about building a homestead, you should definitely think about that. How fast can you get the animals off the property? And so when I was a kid, we used to rescue horses from the track, and I would retrain them, and then we would sell them. Every single one of those animals were terrified of horse trailers. And you do not have time to fight an animal to get in a trailer. So training your animals to get into your trailer, that would be another thing to do. Even if you just ran like, okay, today this is what we're doing. We're loading everything up. We're practicing. Being ex-military, she comes from a firefighter family. Practicing that so that in the event that something crazy happens, everybody knows what to do, and it's not the first time you're doing it, especially if you have children, I would say.
Yeah.
It would be really important.
Your grandbabies are probably a little on edge.
To be honest with you, children would be thrown in the truck immediately. I can't think about you. I've got to get these things done.
Yeah.
They could definitely load crates of smaller animals, of the cats or whatever, but sitting in the vehicle with the dogs would be the best for children.
Yeah, because they could help keep the animals inside the cab.
Right. So, I don't know. I can't think of anything else. The only other thing that I can think of is for future stuff, which would be having as much water on hand as we possibly can. So, getting the big tanks of water, which, you know, is the plan. Eventually I would like to have 20,000 gallons of water on this property, because I'm going to be gardening and such, and we have animals and such.
Yeah.
So
I know another thing that Mom's husband said to do was pack a bin of canned or dried foods, so that way you have something to eat when you get to wherever it is you're stopping at.
that makes sense. But that would be the very last thing for you to worry about, I think, because the community picks up that slack, and people start feeding. Like, I don't know what to do, I'm going to feed whoever I can feed, and that is a legitimate thing that I've seen in every single situation that I've been in. Now, if you have children or someone who's very picky or who has hardcore allergies, then you would definitely need to grab any special things that you would need for them.
Yeah.
But like most homesteaders, you're canning in jars. You're not going to be able to take off with that. It has to actually be real metal cans of food.
Yeah, like
and a can of water. So I would say maybe in your stockpile that you purchase those things, and they're in a big tote that you could grab and go. Yeah. Tuna, canned salmon, like Lots of protein that's going to keep you really full.
Yeah.
Maybe
it has to be a tote that seals nicely where it doesn't release scent, because if you do bagged foods too, you don't want mice and stuff to smell.
Well, I wouldn't even do that. I would do only canned stuff. It would be heavy. It would be a heavy container.
Yeah.
But that's something that you need to think about. Of course, then you go down to your go bags with your backpacks that have your stuff in it, your first aid and all that kind of stuff. But in this type of situation, the communities pick up and start helping pretty quickly. So that would literally be the last thing that I would grab for us. You need to grab your guns. You need to move your propane tanks away from your house. Get all of your propane tanks as far away from your house as you can, because firefighters are going to come in and they're going to defend your house. That's what they're going to do. That's their main goal. They've been saying that all along this entire Facebook thread, to help people, is we are defending homes. That's what we are doing. That's their main goal. If you leave a propane tank near your house, you have now put everybody there in danger, because that could blow up. So gas cans, a lot of us out here rural, we have generators. You might hear our generator in the background. Get your gas cans, get your propane tanks as far away from your house as you possibly can. Disconnect if you have a propane stove in your house, propane heater, disconnect from your propane. And I mean, if you have a big giant canister, you obviously can't do that, but any of your small canisters and stuff like that, get those away from your house. That was a tip somebody put on there, and I was like, wow, I didn't even think about that, but it makes total sense.
I didn't think about that, because the last situation I was in, it was like this, was back at Mom's place, and we didn't do generators. We did the livestock worrying and the inside animal worrying.
Right. So I think that's about all that we have to share. If you have anything that you can think of, please leave it in the comments so it can help everybody out, or help us out for, hopefully, God forbid, this never happens again. Or this, if it ever happens again, maybe we have some things that we did not think of. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're at on this. And if you're local and you want a kitten, we have some available. We say that on every single one. Thanks for hanging out with us, you guys. We are sitting tight as is. The wind is still blowing to the northeast, so it is moving away from us. It's not moving towards us. We are still monitoring everything that I can get my little hot hands on concerning it. And we thank you guys so much for always supporting us. Bye.